All right, so hey everyone, this is Milz from America, and this is the first in the interview series. This is all trial and error, so we'll see what happens. Today I'm interviewing.
Hey guys, I'm Wicko. I'm from the UK, top 40 UK. I'm really excited to be doing this. This is a great opportunity to chat to a really amazing looper and just someone who's a close friend of mine. So yeah, really looking forward to this interview. It's gonna be great.
Nice. All right, so first thing, just a background about yourself. I usually like to start with like non beatbox background, if you're okay. So like
Yeah,
kind
that's perfectly fine. Um, so um, so my real name is Louis. I'm 20 years old. I am a keen drama person as well as my beatboxing side. So I currently study drama at uni. I'm very much active also in a couple of different things as well. You'll see me sometimes in doing production for sound design and shows and stuff like that in drama. But you'll also see me on a more musical side doing stuff such as MCing and other stuff as well around. So yeah, I'm very active in the performing arts sort of character. I'm also keen sports fan and just generally love traveling as well. I love traveling across the country. So for me, I want my dream is to travel across the country via beatboxing. So that is definitely something that would be I'd love.
yeah, that's a lot. So basically, of those like 9, 10 things that you said, my second question, which you were kind of getting into, was going from your background, the kind of like non-beatbox background, into now more your beatbox background. So I know, like you mentioned, performing arts, and not just did you mention traveling, but traveling with your main purpose of beatboxing. So I
Beatboxing,
was
yeah,
wondering if you want to
precisely.
kind of go from
Yeah,
your
for
non.
me, one of the main things with beatboxing is that I love it, and the fact that I got to go to different places to perform beatboxing and do different gigs across the UK was great. So for me, the fact that I could go to a country and be like, "Hey, I'm a beatboxer," and they go, "Oh my god, that's amazing," and show you stuff would is amazing. I mean, for me personally, I think that beatboxing has got such a wide spectrum of places to go. So yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how different cultures take to beatboxing in different ways. So yeah, I definitely think that for me, beatboxing is definitely a traveling purpose for me. Definitely.
Nice. So that's cool that you mentioned culture. So I was actually born in Serbia. I know I mentioned that to you about a year ago when I first introduced myself to you, and you actually helped me get into beatboxing. So shout out to you for
Yeah.
that. Um,
Yeah. Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
yeah. Do you want to talk more about like the travel and the culture and the languages and dialects and things like that, real quick?
Yeah, of course I can. So for me, one of the main things about beatboxing that I learned over the years is I used to study French all the way up to A level. No, to about AS level, which is like your equivalent of like college. I'm not really sure about the conversion rates, but it's about that anyways. But yeah, no, I was always interested in languages. I had a friend in secondary school who knew 10 languages, and it was just amazing just to hear I know, just to hear him speak those different languages and to hear all the all the noises coming from his mouth. And then it wasn't until about a year ago when when I was studying about sound theatre, where we were talking about how different languages incorporate into sound theatre. So for me, that is definitely something that I enjoy. I've did a culture course back in secondary school as well. So I love everything to do with culture, and for me, culture is definitely a big thing, and also with beatboxing as well, because we say that beatboxing is the national language. In some ways, it is because you can just go up to somebody and go and they might understand it, they might not, but like it's interesting to bring something into that culture, which such as beatboxing. So
So
yeah.
you said sound theater. Did I hear
Yes.
sound theater? Could you? I've actually never heard of that type of theater before. So could you
Yes.
explain a little bit more?
Yeah, of course I can. So sound theatre is basically a theatre that was popularised during the Renaissance period and of avant-garde. And basically it was the idea that you would make a noise that was unusual and the audience would react to that by clapping or um experience something they haven't experienced before, because that was what the Renaissance was all about. It was about making weird stuff and making it almost appealing to people. So sound theatre now in the 20th century has taken a very much different hit. It's used some forms of beatboxing and ways that it's come across in different ways in the 20th century by using the technology that we have today. For me personally, with sound theatre, it's great for me because I get to use my two biggest passions, which are beatboxing and drama, and basically bring them together, which is great. It's like at the moment I'm working on a piece with my theatre company, Hypnosis Theatre, and we're basically what we're doing is we're taking sound samples from beatboxers and basically breaking it into a performance on the idea of how judgment is perceived, which is something that is very important within the beatboxing community.
So judgment, you mean like with all the battling and like this is good, this isn't good enough? Like you mean that way or in a different way?
Well, I've been a judge on Discord for about a year and a half. I did judging on WhatsApp as well, for
Nice.
WhatsApp battles in the beatboxing community. And for me, one of the things I found is that there are judges that are very good, and there are judges that are not very good. And
It's shout
I'm
out to the
gonna.
comment section. It's rigged. It's rigged. Don't. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I think what's important with judging is that we have this idea that there's a bias over certain people, or we have an idea that, oh, this guy likes this guy, so they're going to vote for this guy. Well, no. I think with judgment, judgment is based on raw skill or raw talent or raw personality. It's not about just saying, oh, he has glasses, he's a nerd, or he wears black. Yeah, that's it. Or he is black and he's an emo. You know, it's not about judging to social conforms anymore. I mean, if you look at the Black Lives Movement, it's really important to see everything with that about how we're now rejudging ourselves based on racism and what is racism and what we do in this racist.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
it's very interesting.
yeah. So my third question, which you kind of already talked about, it was going to be about background in theater and teaching. So we already talked a lot about theater. It's cool that you mentioned Black Lives Matter. You want to take a quick detour and kind of talk about Black Lives Matter, not just the fact that it was like since George Floyd, now we have to revisit this, but I guess a question which I'd like to ask pretty much anybody I interview from now on is, the reality that, black people, black men invented this art form. So I was wondering
Yeah.
if you feel comfortable talking more about that or.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I don't know if you saw, but there was a live stream about a week ago with Johnny Buffalo, Heirloom Beats, a couple others as well, Galoosh as well. And I had a lesson with Johnny Buffalo, so shout out to Johnny Buffalo, by the way. Love him. But we had a massive, like, about half an hour talk about it afterwards, because we're both in the a cappella scene. We both have our own a cappella groups that we perform in and stuff like that. And what I thought was really important was that with Black Lives, black people invented beatboxing. They invented all my favorite types of music: jazz, electro, bassline. It's amazing to see how many even more black producers there are today. I mean, one of my favorite people at the moment that I'm listening to constantly is WKTD, and they're a house group, but they're all black. So, like, you wouldn't it's a thing that we've got to almost embrace. As black people, they've done amazing things, and the fact they are getting prioritized by police in the US. There's racism in the UK as well. It's interesting, and I've got a DJ group of friends, and they've all got the opinion that it won't fully. There's nothing that will really change, but for me personally, I think that with everything that's going on at the moment, if gay people could change their lives and transgender people could change their lives, then why can't black people change their lives? And I think in terms of music, I think we're going to see a lot more black artists come out, especially within beatboxing, because beatboxing is a great way of doing it. I mean, I'll take one example. For example, MC Zanny, he was also in the group. He's an example of a UK artist for me as a black person who is sort of not saying that he's not embracing the diversity, because he is part of the diversity, but he is somebody who's definitely going for that diversity. I mean, he's a co-producer of the UK champs, and he's definitely going for that diversity in a way forward. And I think that, in a way, yes, we should go diversity in a way forward for beatboxing, but at the same time, we shouldn't have that judgment biased that I was talking about slightly earlier. So, with beatboxing and black people, you have amazing black people who started our culture, correct. You have amazing black people that are still in our culture, which is correct. However, with beatboxing and black people, what we've also got to understand is that, yes, there's black people who are good at beatboxing. Yes, there are white people. Yes, there are transgender. Yes, there are gay. Yes, there are everything that are good at beatboxing. But at the end of the day, they're all beatboxers. And they all should have exactly the same respect as each other, whether they're female, male, black, white, anything. So that's my thoughts on Black Lives Matter in beatboxing. Yes, they should be more. They should be respected and thought about. Agreed, especially in the acapella scene and music scene. However, what I don't want this to turn to is a way where we over push for black people in beatboxing, and we actually don't think of them as beatboxers. We think about them like currently like the world champs female category of 2017, where it's like, oh, these are female, they can beatbox. Woohoo! We don't want this thought about like that now. We want this thought about as beatboxers beatboxing. And this is one of the most important things we need to get into this mindset in the next couple of years. That just because you're a girl, boy, black, white, you beatbox. You're a good beatboxer, not a good beatboxer because of this or because of that. You're just a good beatboxer. So yeah, there's my thoughts currently on the Black Lives Matter movement in relation to beatboxing, personally.
Nice. It's really nice. All right. So theater and cultural issues, great. For about a year, as I started to say, for about a year, I've known you as a drama teacher. I was wondering if you're still kind of doing that, and if so, like what that will look like in the near future, or what?
Well, for me at the moment, I am doing at the moment because we're in lockdown. I'm trying to get beatbox students and beatbox lessons. I took part in the Kayla scheme, which was a few lessons for free if you donate to a movement, which actually did quite well. I got
What's
a
that
couple of
called?
people, which
The
was
what
quite good.
Kayla scheme? Wait, what?
Kayla did a thing on Instagram where she posted
Kayla
about
Mulledy?
free lessons. Yes, if you free beatbox lessons if you donate to one of the 5 charities of, or I think it was
Oh
6,
yeah.
5.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so I did that as well, and I got a couple of students through that. One of them is actually now going to be a permanent student of mine come September, so that's great. But yeah, no, with drama teaching, drama is something that obviously it's like a passion to beatboxing. So for me, I think that teaching drama is something I want to go into, but I want to keep the beatboxing going. So I want to have that dual personality where you have one side of me who is a drama teacher who loves teaching drama, but the other side is also a beatboxer who loves teaching beatboxing and who loves, going to events and loves going and taking part and being with the amazing UK scene or the amazing world scene or even the SBX camp scene from last year, who were incredible, and I can't wait to see
Glad you mentioned
next year
camp
as well.
because we are going to get to that.
Oh, perfect. It's like I predicted the questions. Yeah,
Anticipation
no,
is key. I'm just
precisely, yes. But yeah, no, it's one thing about lockdown is that I know for a fact now I want to go in and doing drama teaching. I want to be able to teach in some capacity. I want to keep beatboxing on the go because it's something that I enjoy doing. I mean, I do it at work all the time. I mean, they're probably sick of me just making clicking and farting noises all the time, but like, it's perfectly fine. So.
nice. Okay. So, kind of going into the next question would be, how is your beatbox now? So, I've seen you grinding on Instagram, Discord, on Facebook. I know you've done live stage experience.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm wondering if it's just pretty much continuing doing what you're doing, or I guess part of the question is also like your beatbox style. So kind of like mixed.
Okay, so when I first started beatboxing, God, this is gonna make me sound really, really bad. When I first started beatboxing 7 years ago, I never thought that I would get to this stage now, where I got into the top 16 of a battle this year. Maybe it might have been just through the reserve, but I got to the top 16 this year in a battle. And yes, I got plummeted by my opponent, but to be honest, I feel that with my style has definitely improved. I've gone to the point where I was just focusing on a bass and just a little bit of tech to now being able to do lots more tech, lots more different styles, and also being able to do sounds that I never thought I'd be able to do, which for me is incredible because with everything, the more stuff you can do, the better you are. And like I always see myself as having at least a bit of everything on my CV and having something to prove that. That's what I see myself having. And for me, beatboxing, if I've got to a battle and gone to top 16 and yes, got hammered, I think this is just a small stepping stone for me this year. I'm hoping that I can go and do some bigger things like later this year or next year. I'm hoping the next year will be the year where I properly show what I've got on the table. I can properly, fully integrate my style, and fully integrate a lot of things. To be honest with you, not just in beatboxing, but also in my drama stuff and also in a lot of stuff as well. So
Nice. All right. So what about? Could you talk to us about like if you have any signature solo beatbox sounds or like patterns or combos or something like that?
well, since my style evolved, I had a lot of different things come in and come out. So like I'd say one of my things I use a bit too much is my radic whistle. But I feel like that's sort of slowly getting out of the way. I'm now using a lot more pops, a lot more. So like, for example, I'm using that quite a lot at the moment, and I'm using a thing that I'm calling like a double Dino sounds, whereas like a which is like the sliding back and forth of Dilo's almost humming sound that he does with a so that's quite nice. And I think for me, when I started, I wanted to be a bass musicalist. That was the like genre I wanted to go to, like your Codfishes, like your Thomas Zach plays. I think I was X-Bits in there as well. There's a couple of amazing basses as well, like Oracle, Inertia, a couple of us from the UK as well, Bass Ventura. You can add a Carly to that list. You can add loads of beatboxers to that list who are amazing at bass. Even my tag team partner Sen as well. You've got amazing people who are incredible at
You're reading my
bass and
mind because
musicality.
Sen and tag team is going to be my next thing. But
Okay.
if you wanna finish talking about your solo, or we can go directly into tag stuff. It's up to you.
I'll combine the two. I'll
Yeah.
combine the
So
two. It's
yeah.
fine.
So the next question was going to be: are you comfortable discussing high and low? Are you still called the high and low? And then like a quick background of meeting Sen meeting you. So
Yeah.
that was gonna be my next set of questions for you. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So for as I was saying, with different bases and those different bases, and I think with mine, it's nice to have a different base and it to be able to be pushed and continue to be pushed and to be molded and split into different parts as well, which I quite like about my bass. I did a thing called hocketing. I did like a couple of weeks of just doing hocketing pieces, and yes, I don't have the best voice for it, but I managed to do that with bass. I'm trying now to do it with polyphonic voice as well, just to get up to the next level. And I think one of the most important things about beatboxing is not just training yourself as I can make an inward bass, I can make a lip roll. It's about can I train a style that is gonna work? Because I see a lot of people who beatbox who are like, I've got a style. and they haven't. Or I've got sounds that can really work well together. Yes, but you don't have a style. And the problem is if you don't have a style, as I personally believe, you will slowly but surely drown out. So like for example, if we have a look at some people in the UK scene, there's a couple of people who I personally believe don't have as great of style. They might have good routines, they might have good beats, but personally, if styles, not there. And I think that slowly but surely they will start to dwindle. They will start to dwindle down.
You know,
Um,
so I think something that we agree on is that, um, if anything, I feel like looking at the future of this community, like, yeah, being objective, we can always work on like sound design, for example. But
oh yeah,
if someone has ideas, um, not to toot my own horn, but with my loop routines, I do everything. I just
yeah.
completely shatter all the boundaries. Like vinyl flick. No, sorry, UK friends. I'm gonna, instead of your vinyl flick way, I'm gonna turn the vinyl flick on a grand delay and make it sound like some Italian opera harp vibraphone.
Yeah, which is amazing, and to think that we've got so many ways of doing different sounds, and it shouldn't be about people. Shouldn't be about like there was a thing posted on Beatbox All Stars, and I will reference this because this was absolutely disgusting almost. But what they did was they posted a sound. Said, "Can you learn all these sounds in 3 months?" And I said to the group, I said, "Oh, that's obviously what all the Indonesians do," and it is like that. You know, we're given sets of lists of sounds to learn based on people who come up with these sounds, and it takes one shout on Beatbox International for everyone to go, I want to learn this sound. This sound will be good for me, so I can do it like him. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about you going, oh, that was a cool sound. Do you know what? I'm going to attempt to do it. I can't do it. I'm going to mold it into my own way. That's what a lot of people don't do, and it's crazy to think that actually we're still on this. I want to learn this sound. I want to learn this sound. I remember who was it who had a stream full of people? It was Bass Ventura, with a stream full of people saying, I want to learn him with bass. And it's like, it's not that important. Because if you can't, if you learn him with bass and you can't use it, what can you do? It's like when I teach my students about bass, I teach it in a very different way. I teach it all about the vocal cords and the vibrations and getting to that major vibration in your throat to get that bass. So for me personally, I think that everyone should stop worrying about certain sounds and everyone should just go, jump beatboxer. Yeah, you're a beatboxer because you've just made beatboxing sounds.
Yeah,
Bravo, amazing.
I mean, like personally, I'm way more impressed with someone who can just push boundaries, and like people might call you a troll if you do it, but I feel like I would live a much happier life knowing that I at least tried to change things. I mean, still being objectively good, like making sure, like for example, drums are punchy and clean like that,
Yeah,
but like you know what I'm saying, so.
I get what you're saying. Like, it's that point of pushing the boundaries but keeping it real. So, like, if you go to someone, I'm beatbox, that's there could be beatboxing noise, but it's not because it's not on that spectre of realism. And I think a lot of beatboxers have got to look on themselves and be realistic and go, including myself, and be like, right, I can make this sound. This is a good sound according to one person, but this is a bad sound according to another person. But to me, the sound is really good and works in my style. So, yes, we as teachers, we give advice and we give ideas based on what we know. But for beatboxer with lessons or paying for lessons, like you look at people like Audible who were charging $50, and you look at people like other people like Darnie or Chris Elise who are doing lessons, or Dilo who's doing lessons. Personally, as someone who's had lessons before with many different people, it's interesting to see how different people do lessons, because some people do lessons based on, oh yeah, I'm this guy, I'm gonna do it like this, and you're gonna do it like this. And some people just go, just tweak it this way and that way, and you'll be brilliant. And that is what I think teachers should be. They shouldn't be paid to teach you to beatbox. They should be paid to rip into your style and go, this can be tweaked, this little bit can be tweaked here, this little bit can be cleaner, and just go for it. That's what it should be based on.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that vision, mission, and philosophy. Yeah, because especially during the pandemic time when there are more tutorials and more content being created by people, whether it's loop tutorials, solo beatbox tutorials. It's so easy when someone says, "Show me how to do inward bass." It's like, bro, you can just go on the YouTube search engine and find that.
Yeah, precisely.
But where a teacher comes into play is, okay, you have this whole set of sounds and like you're trying to make sense of it. For example, I know this isn't solo beatbox, but like when Brez started making routine tutorials on how to create a routine, where he showed you not just but like other little strategies that you might not have heard, which is like, well, I mean, with like layering things like that, and they're things that you might not have thought of, and so that's kind of along the lines that you're saying and I'm saying. So
yeah, and it's also with the new sounds as well comes a whole new type of different loops as well. Like, it's not just beatboxing sounds, you can loops for loops, which is incredible. And like, someone said to me that loops will one day overtake DJs. I actually agree with that in some respects.
Especially
it's
with
such a different market.
Especially with the second devices, and now like Inky made that video called like My Song. Now he has like 4 devices.
Yeah.
It's like a producer battle. Like when I was talking to Bonzo a while ago, he said like now it's turning into this producer battle. And like even now, I think it's like Lyndon J. I think he's from the UK.
Yeah.
Where now like they're hiring producers to judge. I know ZD is a producer. I don't know if he's looped. I wouldn't doubt if he has. But speaking of producers, and like ZD, when he was kind of interviewed just before the finals, basically when he was doing showcases, like Scott Jackson was asking him, so from your producer lens, what are some things that you're looking for? And then ZD went on and said like, okay, like some reverb, delay, da 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 da. So yeah, I totally agree. It's turning into this producer type thing, whereas like pre 2016, 2017, it was more like, can you rap, can you solo beatbox over the mix? Now it's, can you do all this crazy stuff and like let's go.
What new can you add to the table?
Yeah, like let's go contact Frosty and see how many more million possibilities that he can recommend to me via the Line 6 Helix and stuff. So shout out to Frosty.
Yeah, yeah, I love Frosty. Big up Charlie.
Yeah, especially
big up.
Yeah, especially because he knew how to go like this. Brez, you see, it's no longer plugged in. It's no longer plugged in. Shout out to my wife who's letting me, come down here in this basement and like do all these interviews in the first place, and with minimal.
Yeah, it's amazing that she's so supportive after after seeing all your work and seeing how much you're passionate about it, just to see how amazing you are, man. I mean, big up her. She's amazing. Like she's great.
I'll definitely make
great,
that
man.
that a 20-second clip for her, which you just said. All right, nice. Yeah, she'll appreciate that. Okay, so we started to talk about high and low and sen.
Yes, so it's actually quite a funny story, actually. So I was in my first ever battle, and this was in Wales, in Cardiff, and we both did elimination, and I actually messed up my elimination, so I thought I did really bad, and I was really upset, and it was Milky, actually, who turned around to me and said, "Oh, mate, you've done so well. Amazing, mate." And everyone else was going, "Oh my god, you did so well, amazing, even though you messed up." And then you had and then I didn't really see Sen much during the day. He just came over to find out his score basically the same time as me, and Dino basically laughed at us and said, "Oh my god, you're 21st and you're 22nd," and I was 22nd, he was 21st. And he said, "Do you know what the funny thing is? You need to learn from him, and he needs to learn from you." And for me, that was amazing because I thought, "Oh my god, I've got to teach someone stage presence." Oh my god, because Dino vouches for me, says I've got one of the best stage presence in the UK. And I think that normally comes down to my drama skills and the fact that a lot of people in the UK, yes, they've got battle experience, yes, they've got performing experience on shows like in front of masses amounts of people. But for me, I've actually got drama experience. I know how to work any stage for anything. Like you give me beatboxing and I'm up against somebody, I know how to work that stage. Yes, I'll be slightly more nervous because it's something I'm not used to doing on a stage yet, somewhat in front of a massive crowd. But I will be there. I will give it 110%. And I think that's why my enthusiasm for that came across to Sen, really. And we were chatting afterwards for a good couple of months, just afterwards. And I turned around to him and said, "Hey, you know what Dealer said about me learning from you and you learning from me? Should we just be a tag team?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I then went back to Wales and we composed a couple of really nice routines there. And we're still working on it today. We're going to be entering UK champs this year. Hoping to go as best as we can. Hoping, hopefully, if the draw goes well, that we can actually win. We've got so much different stuff to what the other competitors are bringing. We've some of the arrangements we've got taken from some of the tag teams across all over the world. So we're taking some from India, from Japan, from USA, from France, from Italy, taking it from all across the world. And it's amazing to see how different tag teams do different stuff and how we've now taken that and brought that into our own sort of ball game almost.
So you're still called high and low.
Yes, we are. We are
Okay.
still
Do you
called high and
wanna
low. Yes.
do you wanna kind of give like a brief example of like first of all who's high, who's low, and then why is one person high, why is one person low?
Due to the drugs. No, I'm joking. No, I was joking. Basically, um, we called ourselves high and low because we had a massive discussion about it, basically. And back when we was first talking, I had most of my stuff was high bass. So, and Sen was normally quite low bass, and the fact that he had more experience on stage meant that he was generally like the lower person because he was lower in his
Real quick
bass
though,
at the time.
when you say high bass for the beginner for the beginners who might think, wait, high and bass, what? What's high
Yeah,
bass?
so
Could you just give a good
okay.
example, real quick?
Okay, so you got Alex, he does high bass, which is what he does in his routine. It's like, but my one I took 2 steps higher than that. So I basically reflacked my vocal cords and added a bit of what Mr. Android now adds a lot to his sounds, which is a bit of a more slightly technique in the back of the throat. So mine sound like so it's got that almost robotic high effect, which is what you hear in loads of songs as well. In that massive like so it's quite nice to have that sort of contract not contraction juxtaposition between
I know
having
what you mean. Yeah.
a super high bass and having a lower high bass. And it was quite funny because when I spoke to Alex Senior at camp, we had a high bass battle because I was like, "Oh, mate, my high bass is higher than yours." And he was like, "Okay, show me." So I showed him, and he was like, "Mate, that's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. You just need to get it slightly more controlled, and you've got something ridiculous." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm Alex Senior, so I've got something ridiculous. Oh my god." So yeah, not fainting, but like yeah.
Yeah, how did you join? So I know, like we've talked about the UK community, high and low, D-low. You mentioned, what do you have to say?
Frosty.
What do you particularly have to say about the UK community? Like how you joined, specifically how Discord, that big Facebook group that you actually got me into. I don't know, Matt Hahn. Did you know Beatbox, Beardy Man? Just if you want to talk about just the UK for right now.
Oh wow! I could say a lot of controversial things, but I'm not going
Hurry
to.
up, you're on the clock.
Um, okay, basically, UK Beatbox community. We have a massive UK Beatbox page on Facebook called the British Beatbox Community. We post all different stuff on there, from people who are doing covers to people who are doing beatboxing. We've all got a massive family. We do about 5 different battles across the year. We're hopefully gonna be starting off something. Bit of a spoiler. Hopefully, starting off something next year, 2021, called the Beatbox League, which is going to be a massive thing around the UK, where we have regional heats. So they're going to be all across the country from different places. I'm going to be running one of them next year, and then when I move eventually, because I'm not going to be in Lincoln every day, I'm going to be moving across the country. I'm going to be helping one out down in Brighton, and we're going to be doing different regional heats, and the top 8 of those will be going through to UK champs, and then we will have a 32, or hopefully 32, um, load of people basically in UK champs. So it's a new way of doing it without having to do wild cards, without everyone getting pissed off because, oh, I didn't make it, I didn't get in because they're biased. You know, it's none of that stupid stuff anymore. It's about actually going for it, going through it in battles, not holding back, literally going for every single thing. You know, with the same tag teams as we're hoping to have it, the same tag teams the following year and loops. So, and also not just have it about beatboxing, but having hip hop events. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do in one of my battles last year that didn't go through was that I wanted to do a DJ versus tag team beatbox battle, where basically the DJ would play a bit of track, and then the tag team would then play that bit of track back, like do a whole bit back, which I thought was quite interesting, to have that sort of concept. So yeah, I think that the UK beatbox scene's got some stuff special. We've definitely got some nice names coming through, like some Milky Base Ventura. Um, they're definitely up there. You've got Epos, who's obviously getting into all the big competitions now. He's doing well. You've got a couple of new guys in the scene who are gonna hopefully smash it this year. You've got Merc. You've got myself, who's doing all right. You've got Shoga. He's definitely gonna smash the scene this year. And then you've got your old favourites like your Redbeard, your Cell, your Akami, your Frosty, who are all going to still be there and all going to be still smashing it. So I think that if we just need to all move up another level, and I think we've definitely got to, we're definitely hoping to get to the same point as the Americans where anyone can win it. Out of the top 32, anybody can win it. Whereas now I see that there's a bit of a top middle end bracket at the moment. I think everyone's a bit like wanting to get in that top bracket when actually it should be about everyone's styles being unique.
Yep.
If you get my meaning.
Styles over, everything else. So.
Precisely.
Okay. Well, you definitely did a great job of wrapping up, all of the UK community in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, big up the UK community.
Big
we're all absolutely smashing it at the moment. So big up. Let's keep it going.
So for those who don't understand, for the past 30 minutes, when we've been saying big op is a dialect way of saying up. Is op. Yeah.
Yes. Currently known, quite known in the UK, London scene, Millwall scene. So yeah, it's great. It's gone national. It's like my brololol, which went quite national as well. It was from which went everywhere. Even Pony was saying it in it. Yeah, which is yeah, it was going literally everywhere. So yeah, pretty enjoyed it.
Oh, one more thing about the UK. So I mentioned Cardiff and Wales. So UK, United Kingdom, isn't just one country. So it's not like America where I live. You have Wales. You have it's all of Scotland. I think.
Yeah.
Would you just give a brief recap?
Wow. Okay. So you have England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland, and Wales.
Right.
But for the UK, you miss out Ireland. So you have Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and UK. So with the champ situation, that means you have a Welsh champs, a Scottish champs, a Irish champs, and a UK champs, which is kind of weird because you think it'd be England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, they all come together for one massive one. But the winners of each one go to like a top 4, which would be insane. But like, no, annoyingly.
Yep. Oh,
I mean, imagine that though. Imagine that for this year. Like, imagine if someone, like, say if
that.
I know, but like, imagine if it was Frosty versus OCB versus Tremor versus myself. You know, imagine if that is, you know, the 4 people you've won from each different par, and we go into a top 4 battle. Imagine that. That would be so sick.
Imagine that. All right.
I know.
Okay.
Beatbox League, get on that.
All right. Question.
Watching you, ABH.
Question number 7. SBX camp.
Oh,
Go.
I knew this was coming up. Oh, you don't understand how many times people have taken a picture of me from the audience or in that circle jam and have gone,
I actually had that
I
in the
know
notes.
you. Oh, I mean,
That's
it was a
Wicko.
great
That's
time.
Wicko. Oh my god, that's Wicko.
Yeah, no, to be fair, SBX camp was definitely something that changed me. It made me a lot less arrogant. It made me actually quite respective as well. And also it made me have the wow factor because when I went there and I did a tutorial thing with Darnie, I showed off my bass internationally for the first time and have everyone go, oh, like, oh my god, it was just incredible.
So what kind of classes or master classes did you do, or were you one of those that just kind of tried all of them? I haven't been there. I'd like to go there. So
yeah, I would definitely recommend it to anybody to go to SBX camp. It is definitely one of the most engaging camps you could ever go to because you go there, you arrive, and you find out that someone really big is in your dorm. So for us, it was Thomas Zachary. Thomas Zachary was staying in our like complex bit, which we had no idea until he came knocking on our door, and I was like, "Oh, hello," which was quite nice to see them all. And then obviously we all went down to the main like area, and you had Dilo, Codfish, um, MB14, Zaro,
Did you say
Saro, Inky was there,
codfish?
Collapse.
Did you say codfish?
I did say codfish.
I am from Indonesia and I am your biggest fan. Just kidding.
Oh wow, that's brilliant, mate. Yeah, no, I think that yeah, and you got to meet all these different people, which was incredible. And the fact they were doing amazing tutorials, like Darnie was doing his beatbox professor tutorials, Gilo was teaching about stage presence and battle presence and how to get ready for battles. You had who else did you have? Most important, Freddie Beats, who was talking about busking and beatboxing in general and beatboxing in different forms. You then had Sarah and MB14 who were doing solo loop lessons. You had Alem who was doing tech. You had Elem and Axini doing tag lessons. It was an amazing experience. And then the
does
battles
tech?
in the evening was.
I thought Alum was more like Duds from Brazil. I thought Duds was the fast tech guy who never sang.
No, that's Kohei. But yeah, no. Overall, it was just nice to be in their company and to feel special. Like they would walk up to you during the day and be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" Like I remember Crystalise doing that to me probably every single day during camp because I was with him every single day during camp. and it was just nice because these sort of people you'd only seen on a YouTube screen. So to be with them in real life, it was kind of a fanboy moment for me, and I think especially with the fact that during Dito's lesson I got to battle Gene, which I thought was really eye-opening because Gene basically came around and said, you're sick, but you need to use bass less, and I think that's one of the things that stopped me throughout this whole year. Is that yes, I do use bass, but I don't use it as much, and I focus on a lot of things over this year that haven't been bass.
So next question is pretty much what I'll get into with Yasun when I interview him. He and I have had some cool conversations about online presence and online messaging, how you present yourself online versus a perfect example like camp. How do you think people can, especially younger folks, can kind of bridge the gap? And so where they, if they have a certain reputation online and then they show up to somewhere in Warsaw, Poland, what advice would you have for them?
A lot of things, because online on the UK messaging group, I'm a jerk. So I'm a jerk to my own community. The reason being is because I just generally I don't mind pissing them all off because they know I'm joking half the time. So it's quite nice. However, in the international communities, I'm just generally nice. Like on Discord, I'm nice. I'm just nice to everyone, and I think that comes across when you go to another like real life event. Because with the UK event I went to, everyone was like, "Oh, hey man," because everyone knows you, so you have that reputation of everyone going, "Oh yeah, this guy's a nice guy, but he can be an
You've
arse
always
at
been nice
times."
to me.
And then when
I'm-
yeah, no,
so
but
I don't know what you're talking about.
that's because I yeah, well no, if you see me in the UK chat, I'm a little bit of an arse at times, but um, it's their almost that niceness because they know I'm going to be nice at events. So it's that sort of keyboard warrior type person that can be a jerk and be nice in events. So my bit of advice I would say is stop being a keyboard warrior. Don't do what a couple people I've seen do, because it's not, you just get yourself not really like a nice presence. Like some people do who are keyboard warriors because you have the mini friendship group in your scene. Like for example, Kailash Evans, he has his mini group in his scene, but online he's an absolute arsehole. But he would never be like that to our
Let's
faces
keep this
because he
positive.
knows that. Okay,
I'm
because
gonna have to edit
he
that part
knows that
out.
obviously. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Um. So yeah, I would say it's about being positive in all areas, so that overall you could just be yourself, and you don't have to worry about what people think of you. Back to the judgment thing I said previously, you have judgment based on what you do online. You don't have judgment based on what you are in your personality. I mean, yes, you do in some aspects, because some people don't like people's personalities, which I think is a bit weird. But if you talk to people in your community, you make good friends with people in your community, you have friends for life. So, like, I have you as a friend for life. I have my many people from the UK as a friend for life. Don't cut that out. I have a load of people as friends for life who I talk to on a daily basis. So it's just great just to have them like be with you and just enjoy your company, as a person in your community. So yeah, I would definitely say avoid being a keyboard warrior and just go from there, basically.
Nice. So I was gonna ask you like, what does the future look like for you? But it seems like you pretty much already answered. I mean, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, like you referenced tons of examples of how you're gonna keep, the drama, the teaching, the the organizing, the judging, the online teaching. So I think I mean, if there's anything else you want to add about your future.
Um, when I started going in the professional scene, I had no idea that I would get to this point. When I did my first ever battle and got 22nd, I then made myself a 5-year plan. And that 5-year plan was at the end of 5 years to be in the top 4 of UK champs. That was my goal at the end of 5 years, and now we're currently on year 2, and you know, I'm hoping at least this year I can get top 32 UK. If not, next year get top 32 UK, and at least get top 4 in Scotland or top 8. I don't mind, but it's the fact that at least I've known I'm progressing constantly. So
Nice. So when we're talking about kind of like battling versus the process and the journey, if you had to choose between, so like with your 5-year plan that you just referenced, and by the way, that's great that you have so many goals and that you always know how to hold yourself accountable, and it's not like, well, I'll just whatever. If you had to choose between battling and kind of like the process and journey, which one would you choose? Or is that kind of impossible to answer? Is it kind of both?
okay, so this is actually going to be a very interesting answer because I have always always wanted to answer this sort of question.
Hence Milz interviews.
Hence Milz interviews, exactly. So, answering the best questions ever. Better than Scott Jackson. Anyways,
got some mad UK vibes up in here. Jeez. Ashton chat. Big open chat. No, but like for real though,
Anyway,
Scott Jackson, I very carefully study how he does things, how he asks questions, how he, like not just Ashton chat, but like how he hosts.
Yeah, mate,
how he's on the stage.
Mate, you're doing really well.
Thanks.
Just like the only thing I would say is obviously not have your phone. But apart from that, I think you're all right. Just we're talking normally and we're talking fine. So I'm actually quite enjoying this. To be fair,
Yeah,
I'm
me
really
too.
enjoying this because it's nice just to talk about me.
The only thing is, I don't have another computer monitor, so I always have to have my phone on because like if my family is, so I have to always kind of check it.
Yeah.
I also have my stuff on mute and silent, so I gotta kind of
Yeah,
multitask.
I do as well. So
Yeah.
it's not too bad. But yeah,
And besides it, if I'm doing full screen like this, and I purposely want to keep it that way. That way, if there's like any chats or if I have to kind of mod what's going on, so at the same time. But
yeah, that's fair enough.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I think that for it all overall with me, I'm not the biggest battling fan. I get why we have to
Me too.
battle, and I get why we have to do it, but it needs to come to a point where it's not about battling. It needs to come to a point where beatboxing is a different type of music form rather than battling. And like, yes, we still have the battle culture, but it should also be about how we go forward. And one thing MC Zanny said, which I actually slightly disagree with, was he said in an interview that he believes that if we were to go to the corporate markets, we would be like eaten and then spewed out into this different lifestyle. I actually disagree. I think that if we were to go into the corporate scene, I think instead of being chewed up and spat out, we would chew the people up and spit them out, because we're so individual people with the individual sounds we can make, and we're so individual with everything else that's going on. So yeah, I think that it will be the other way around in the future.
So if I understand correctly, basically, I'm agreeing with you that, and see, I've always told people this, like even at work, my coworkers and my students is like, people think that beatbox is just fart noises, but if you listen to any top mixed and mastered radio hit, you're gonna hear a kick drum, you're gonna hear groovy hi-hats, you're gonna hear multiple types of snares, you're gonna hear a steady beat, you're gonna hear a chorus, you're gonna hear structure, you're gonna hear whether you want to call it a drop or a chorus, you're gonna hear fades, you're gonna hear rapping. So I don't like, you're gonna hear melody, harmony. It's like things you've all, I as a music teacher, I'm still teaching music, things I've always taught people. I don't know. Yeah, this disconnect between like of how like the corporate world is gonna screw us or whatever. Like I don't get that.
No, Now I have got um an example of where beatboxing has not been spit out at all. There was a guy called John Bellion who made the song All Time Low. He did a acoustic version and he used a sound pad, but he also had a beatboxer linked up to that sound pad, who was doing beatboxing during the majority of the second chorus, second verse. And that was interesting because if can have beatboxing in a in an actual radio context, you see beatboxers work with artists all the time nowadays. You also see the fact that beatboxers are becoming a lot more like drum kits. Like I remember I was at a gig, I was watching a gig, and they said our drum kit's not arrived, is um so we can't do anything with we can only do stuff with guitars. And I went up and said, "Oh, I'm a beatboxer." And he's like, "Oh, perfect. We'll use you then." So it was nice to see that almost similarity between drums and beatboxing. And also, what's interesting with beatboxing from a producer side is that beatboxing adds a totally different loop sector, sound sector, as a soundscape and drama. It adds something completely different. It adds so many possibilities that could come with beatboxing. I mean, you look at Reaps One, look at what Kayla and Mark Martin are doing with speech therapy. I'm wanting to get it into drama as Callum Mahalady has done in America. I want to get this to the UK. You know, you've got living people all across the world who are different things. People in France who are at festivals doing beatboxing and looping. You know, it's crazy.
Nice. Okay. All right. So my last two questions is drop a quick beat if you want. And
Is that the last two, or is that just one?
That's the second to last one, is drop a beat if you want. The last one is any final shout outs.
Yeah. Okay. Right, so this is a shout out to Milz, a shout out to Sen, shout out to High and Low, shout out to Merc, shout out to Indy for Team India, and a shout out to the UK beatbox community, American beatbox community, and everyone who is watching this YouTube video right now. I wanna listen to ya. I wanna listen to ya. I wanna listen to ya. I wanna listen. I wanna listen. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen. I wanna listen to ya. Is that alright enough for you, man?
Yes. Yes, very much. Very much. Cheese. Cheese. Cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese. Say cheese.
Cheese. Cheese. Well, man, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. You are number one.
No
You're the guinea
problem.
pig, so if I made any mistakes, too bad.
All right. It's fine, man. And thank you once again for having me.
All right. I'll hit you up. I'll definitely let you know when this is edited and on YouTube. Okay.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
All right.
Speak to you soon.
All right, Ash. Ash.
Ash, bye, mate.
Bye.